today was definitely a demonstration of the class and the talent of Paul Seixas on all levels. Like strength-wise, race savvy, the way he finished that stage by taking the last corners and closed. Didn't close in, but he took the right line. And definitely a big victory and well-deserved for him.
And I'm not saying he's going to be better than Tadej Pogačar. I want that out there. I will say at 19, he looks a lot more polished than Pogačar did. If you go back and watch those early Pogačar wins and successes, you kind of didn't know what he was doing, it looked like. You're like, I don't know, I'll just ride away and win. Whoa, I won? Crazy. Like, this looked really studied and tactically astute. I was pretty impressed. Everybody, welcome back to The Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bernal for our weekly show where we go through the news in cycling. And as we get into the season, we're breaking down the flurry of racing that's sprung up, that's happening. We just watched the end of stage 2 of Volta Algarve with Paul Seixas beating Juan Ayuso, Joao Almeida, in a pretty thrilling, I would say, best race we've seen all year. Uphill finish. We'll talk about the UAE Tour, Remco Evenepoel, what is going on with his GC issues, as well as the Ruta del Sol at Volta Andalusia. Christophe Laporte winning, getting back into form. Johan, before we get into that, though, you were just on a little trip to the Costa Blanca. You went on some rides. You rode with an old friend. Do you want to fill us in about who that was, how they're doing?
Yeah. I was just the weekend. We were in Calpe for the weekend. It's a 4-hour drive, so it was bad weather here in Madrid. By coincidence, I met a group of Irish guys, and one of them, the guy who was leading them was Sean Kelly. So I rode with him for 4 hours. Man, he's still strong, man. He told me he turns 70 this year in a few months. And the guy still has it. He is incredibly fit. It was nice to catch up with him. It's been a while since. I raced with Sean when I was a young professional. I think he stopped his career probably 93. So I raced a few years with him. We've seen each other sporadically, but it was nice to ride with King Kelly, the legend. Second, my son actually told me, second best rider of all times in the rankings.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
if you look at all the points on, stage races, one-day races, it's Eddie Merckx, and the second guy is Sean Kelly.
Interesting. Interesting. What would Lance say about that? Would he agree, disagree? Do we know?
I think, I think he would agree. Kelly's a legend. He won all kinds of different races. If I introduced him to my son, and my son knew who he was. He was actually the guy who says, he's second best rider of all time. Sean didn't know. I didn't know.
Interesting.
And the guy, he started being like a sprinter puncher. Then he started, he won stages at the Tour, got the green jersey at the Tour.
4 times green jersey winner.
Okay. Yeah, 4 times. Okay. Won the Vuelta, was 4th in the Tour, won Paris-Nice 7 years in a row.
Yeah, that's crazy, by the way.
7 years in a row. Plus, Paris-Roubaix, Lombardy, whatever, you name it, all the big races. Milan-San Remo. I think he won Milan-San Remo twice, I think.
Twice. Paris-Roubaix twice. Liège twice. Lombardy 3 times. And he's not even really a stage racer, and he won Paris-Nice 7 times in a row.
Yeah. Well, not being a stage racer and winning Paris-Nice 7 times and winning the Vuelta. Yeah, you're a stage racer.
he's like if Peter Sagan. People. It's funny. Christian said that.
Spencer way better than Peter Sagan. Way better.
It's almost like Larry Bird, where the legend supersedes the results, and then people underestimate how good they were because Sean Kelly. Like I met Sean Kelly in person last year. Like big, he's like big personality, super nice guy, really nice guy, nicer than you would think for someone that accomplished. But you forget, your mind glosses over these results. Like when you go back through and look, like this guy, he was almost like a proto Pogačar. Like really was doing stuff that stretched the imagination.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, if you're second, this is the Pro Cycling Stats ranking, right? But if you're second on that ranking, it's not for nothing. is because you've done some amazing things. But anyways, it was nice to ride with him, and he actually told me he bought a place there. So I'm going back tomorrow for a week, and we'll catch up a few times.
We're not sponsored by the Costa Blanca.
I'll just go out with him, ride on my good days, because he is still really, really strong on the bike.
I think he rides in Richmond Park every day when he's doing the Eurosport work. Like he's out there hammering.
He rides all the time. But anyways, let's not forget he's almost 70 years old, and the old warrior still has it, man.
Classy rider.
Yeah.
No other way to describe it. He also relayed some pretty interesting, helpful news for us and our viewers, listeners. He said, in terms of Spain and a lot of Europe, nothing's changing this year for broadcast. It's still on HBO Max. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the US, I've noticed, I think I said a few weeks ago that the RCS rights hadn't been sold in the US yet. It looks like a deal's been done, because I'm watching almost all these races on HBO Max. Flow is what is Flow? Or UAE is on HBO Max because it's an RCS race. So all these RCS races and some miscellaneous races are on HBO Max in the US, which means Strada, Milano San Remo, and the Giro will be on HBO Max as well, which is good because I think it's a good service that is a clean interface. It's sad if you wanted everything on Flow Bikes or Peacock, though.
Yeah.
But Johan, speaking of the racing, we'll just start with the one we just watched. Volta Algarve. This is in southern Portugal, the southernmost tip of Portugal. Stage 1, Paul Magnier wins. Pretty good little stage win for Paul Magnier.
First win of the season for Soudal, Paul Magnier.
Interesting. Well, So Tim Merlier, we listed all their injuries last week. Tim Merlier's out. He's hurt. Mm-hmm. So a lot's going to be on Paul Magnier's shoulders because how old is this guy? 20. He's 20 years old, right?
Yeah, I think he's old. I think he's 21 or 22. Anyway, he's young.
21.
He won 19 races last year, I think.
He won a lot of races last year. A lot.
So yeah, he's off to a good start. I mean, it's pretty impressive. A young guy like that. Okay, the big sprinter of the team is out. Okay, I'll step up. I'll take it.
And also it keeps this. So there's been 2 stages at Volta Algarve, 2 French winners. Kind of interesting that Paul Magnier on a Belgian team. You see this sometimes, like Alaphilippe on Quick Step. Why does that happen? Like that a French rider would choose to go to a Belgian team?
Usually, like if you see Magnier and then also what's his name? Alaphilippe, for example. They were on the development teams. They were on the development teams of Soudal. Magnier was also there. I think 1 year. If I'm not mistaken, I think Magnier was before. I think he was on Trinity Racing, the team of Andrew McQuaid.
Yeah, I think that's right, actually. Yeah.
And then I think he went 1 year to the development team of Soudal and then made the step to. It's usually where on the development teams they are, but it also says a lot about, because I'm pretty sure a guy like Paul Magnier, for his first year, and so this is his second year pro. This is his second year pro now, or his third year pro?
I think it's second year pro. Yeah.
Maybe third year pro already.
But 2024, yeah. So it is his third year. Start of his third year.
So yeah, but to say no to the first contract, usually, if you're a big talent and you're French, you're going to get offered a lot more on a French team than on a Belgian team. So the guy knew what he was choosing.
Well, yeah, it's notable to me because it means you're making a sporting decision based on what you think is going to be good for your career, which is impressive and shows foresight. Speaking of someone making a lot of money on a French team, stage 2, Volta Algarve, uphill finish, Lidl Trek with their new signing, Juan Ayuso, absolutely rips it up this climb. They were flying at the front of that race. Mm-hmm. It splits. But the rider who was in front a lot of times was Paul Seixas, the 19-year-old on Decathlon. And Ayuso and Almeida were with him in that front group. Almeida was the classic on the commentary. They're like, Almeida's dropped. It's like, come on, guys. He's not dropped. He's coming back. We've seen this before. And then Oscar Onley, impressively, with Matthew Riccatello just off an impressive win at Tour de la Provence over the weekend, bridge up to them. So we have a group of 5 at the front. Almeida's really pressing inside the last kilometer. I thought maybe too much, but maybe he thought that was his best chance. He couldn't drop Ayuso. Ayuso or Seixas. He was distancing the other two. And then Paul Seixas, it was a tricky little final few hundred meters. He gets to the front and he's sprinting very fast. And the thing I was most impressed with is I thought he kind of worked over Ayuso, the older rider, tactically. He's 4 years older than him. And he was taking the better lines, pushing him into the barriers, and holds off for a photo finish uphill sprint, up summit finish. First pro win of his career. I've been a little cool on Seixas the last few weeks, maybe on the show, but I thought this was a super impressive win. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, he was putting the hurt on Ayuso the whole climb, I think. I saw an interview of him before Tour of Algarve. Sounded really confident. And yeah, he delivered. First time that, he's put in a position where he has to carry the weight of the team and deliver. He won this stage. Is it going to be enough for GC? We don't know. Tomorrow's a time trial, right? So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But definitely, yeah. I mean, finally his first win. Let's not forget last year at the beginning of the season, he gave away that stage in Tour of the Alps to Prudhomme and didn't win a race anymore, except the Tour de l'Avenir where he won a stage or a few stages and the GC. But in the pros, this is his first win, but definitely not the last one, man. He's in great shape. Looks like he has made a step forward again, because this is the real, I mean, these are, if you're with Ayuso and Almeida and only, these are the big names, the next level is Pogacar and Jonas and Del Toro. That's it. There's nothing else close to this.
Yeah, and it's true. Like below Vingegaard, this is them. This is the group. This was the first time that I really felt like, are we watching? So you have Pogacar and Jonas, like in one generation, and then you have these the people hoping to be next. Juan Ayuso, Joao Almeida, even though Almeida is kind of the same age. Oscar Onley, Matthew Riccatello, I guess. It was the first time where I was like, oh man, are these guys going to get skipped? Like this, Pogacar is going to retire and it's going to be Del Toro and Seixas, and there's not going to be room for that middle generation.
It is very much possible, Spencer. It's very possible. Listen, today was definitely a demonstration of the class and the talent of Paul Seixas on all levels, like strength-wise, race savvy, the way he finished that stage by taking the last corners and closed. I mean, didn't close in, but he took the right line. And I mean, definitely a big victory and well-deserved for him.
And I'm not saying he's going to be better than Tadej Pogacar. I want that out there. I will say at 19, he looks a lot more polished than Pogacar did. If you go back and watch those early Pogacar wins and successes, you kind of didn't know what he was doing, it looked like. You're like, I don't know, I'll just ride away and win. Whoa, I won? Crazy. Like this looked really studied and tactically astute. I was pretty impressed.
I think Paul Seixas is already fine-tuned. He knows how to train, has his nutrition dialed in, knows how to race. He's a big pro, there's not much he has to learn except, maybe learning his own body, but and he's going to discover that over the years. But yeah, he's definitely on top of his game already.
And we'll be back on Monday after the show, after this race is over, to talk about it. But how do you think this TT tomorrow plays out? Who wins the overall?
Almeida is not a bad time trialist, and he's in the same time.
Yeah.
Ayuso is a pretty good time trialist.
Very good time trialist, yeah.
I would say, I mean, we don't really know the strength of Seixas in the time trials. But anyways, he's in great shape, so he's going to be up there. And then I didn't see the next ones. Who else is close there?
So the GC is Ayuso, Seixas tied on time. Almeida 7 seconds back. Oscar Onley 14 seconds back. Matthew Riccatello 16 seconds back.
Okay, and then 6, 7, and 8. And who's that?
You'd have like Danny Martinez in 6. These 32 seconds back. The only one I would circle here: Kevin Vauquelin, 7th place, 39 seconds back. Mm-hmm. Very good time trialist.
Yeah, he's a good time trialist. Yeah, but anyway, it's not as long as usual. I think the time trial. So it's going to be 15, 20 seconds max. I think between those big guys, between the big favorites. I don't know, man. I'd say I would be tempted to say advantage Almeida, but he didn't do a great time trial last year in Algarve.
Yeah, that's a good memory. I do remember that, but
it was an uphill finish, so I don't know what the time trial is tomorrow. If
it's just like a flat time trial, flat
okay.
19K.
How long is it?
19 kilometers long.
Oh, 19. Okay. 19 is not short. It's not short.
No, I was surprised. Was Algarve the one where Jonas Vingegaard won the overall and he got mowed down by Almeida on that uphill finish? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I thought we might see the pulverization of the group by Almeida, but maybe he needs to be behind for that to happen. He can't do that from the front. I think this is the race to circle and to watch. Maybe I could be wrong, but I thought this was the real first super exciting, at least European race I've seen. Oscar Onley, we should shout out. Pretty good form for not knowing what team he was going to be on. Comes in late to Ineos and looks like he hasn't skipped a beat. Back to the same form we saw early in 2025.
Yeah, he's right back into it. I was surprised to see that also. I mean, we didn't really know which form he was going to be in, and we all know that if you have those problems and troubles in the off season, it gets to you a little bit. Didn't seem to affect Oscar Only, and he was up there. So it's very promising for what's to come.
Yeah, I thought I was impressed. He's been in Australia for a while, which does help because you're in the summer. You would think it wouldn't, like, oh, they're all professionals, but something about being in the summer, being able to train. He's racing Tour right at the very end of 2025. So things are looking good for Onley coming in. He's maybe not going to slump. The Ruta we'll talk about Ruta del Sol. We'll take a quick ad break, and then we'll get into the UAE Tour and the big question about what is going on with Remco Evenepoel. But Ruta del Sol, Volta Andalusia, am I wrong in thinking, Johan, this used to be the premier race this time of year? And now it feels like
but it's been a long time ago. Anyway, it's a nice race. It's a very nice race. Usually always good weather. I mean, luckily they have it timed really right because it's been horrible weather in Andalusia until last week. It's been flooding. I mean, there's been disasters in little villages. The weather seems to be nice from what I see on TV. Finally, Christophe Laporte back to winning. That was nice to see after, I would say last year, a really, really bad season, was out for basically the whole season with a mystery virus. He came back at the end of the season, was in pretty good shape. So yesterday that was a nice win for him. And then today, I don't know if you saw the stage, but the final between Ivan Romeo and Andreas Leknesund, which was really nice from a breakaway. So they made it to the finish. Ivan Romeo, Spanish champion on Movistar, wins the stage, takes the leader's jersey. I haven't seen I haven't looked in detail what the other stages are still. There's usually a hard stage. So this is definitely not the final GC. But yeah, and there's some really good riders. UAE's there with a strong team with Sivakov, who won the race last year. The Pidcock is there with a strong team. I think those are the two favorites. So yeah, we'll see what that brings. Still 3 stages to go. Second
Movistar win of the year. Movistar off to a hot start, and Romeo was the rider who won before they won that race in Valenciana, that stage. That was the rider that had their last pro win, which was at the Dauphiné of last year. Very good
really
rider.
Class rider.
Very good.
World champion time trial under 23.
Yep.
In Zurich 2 years ago, right? Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yep. 2024. U23 world champion time trial.
Yeah.
Bradley Wiggins shouted him out in our Tour de France preview show. And then I thought that was a good little pick. Went on almost to win a stage and then crashed it was like a rainy descent.
Yeah.
Unclear to me why, like, this break had 2 minutes to go, or 2 minutes with like 13K to go, and both of these guys are trucks. Like, what's happening behind? Like, it's not shocking to me they stayed away, but I thought that was a little lackadaisical from the field. I didn't fully understand that.
Yeah, but first initially there were 3 guys, I think, but anyway, those 2 guys, I mean, they're machines, as you say. It was not going to be easy to reel them back in as long as they worked together. It was not a flat stage, so the peloton was not that big anymore. So a lot of teams didn't have many teammates.
Yeah.
And so, because initially I think what happened was that they got away, and then in the peloton there was a little bit of racing on a climb in the middle of the stage, but Visma dropped back because Laporte was dropped. Visma dropped back and brought him back. So as soon as they saw that Visma was bringing Laporte back, I think the peloton kind of sat up a little bit and just let the break go too far. And then finally, there was not enough manpower anymore left to bring them back at the end.
These guys are so strong at the point with like 10K to go when you would expect, that's usually when it starts to tick down. It was actually going up.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. That is a show of strength, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, usually, Spencer, when a breakaway forms and you see there's 4 or 5 riders and you look at the names, man, if you see there's 3 big engines in there, in the team cars, already, oh man, this is not going to be easy today to bring those guys back.
When the 2 guys in front are stronger than anyone in the peloton.
Exactly.
It's not great. Yeah. Sorry, I took an awkward time drink there. But let's anything else on Andalusia before we take a break and get into the UAE Tour?
No, I mean, I think the hardest stage is still to come. So interesting stage race always. With Jan Christen was third today. Also, was very, very strong sprint. He sprinted straight this time.
He's been getting a lot of. He got fourth. Alex and Aramburu got third.
Oh, was Aramburu? Okay, finally, okay.
Who got beat by?
To come anyway, Spencer. To come back on that incident for the people who saw it, like in the race in Jaén. So we had Tim Wellens who won, and then there was Pidcock and Jan Christen and Maxime Van Gils from Red Bull sprinting for second place. Pidcock kind of got away, and then Jan Christen deviated a bit from his line, and Van Gils was basically stuck between him and the barriers, crashed. Unfortunately, fractured his pelvis, which is a complicated injury. Christian got a lot of heat for it, and he got disqualified, which I think was probably the right decision, but it was not a deliberate move. I mean, he just followed them. I mean, he did deviate, but basically Pidcock went first to the left, so instinctively you go in that direction too. Van Gils happened to be, next to the back wheel of Christen, and I think I didn't see any complaint of Van Gils publicly towards Jan Christen. So that tells me that he unfortunately for him it sucks because listen, he crashed and has a big injury fracture. But I think everybody within the peloton sees that this is not a deliberate move. Yes, it deserves a disqualification, but it was not with bad intentions, I think. What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, it does stink for Van Gils, though, because this guy had a bad 2025 and then was starting 2026, started it with a win. That's never bad. So his results were first place, third place, and then Jaén was his third race, and he crashes out, breaks his pelvis. That sucks for him.
Where did he win?
Trofea Salines. It's a town in. It's like one of the stages at the Challenge Mallorca, the time trial. The team time trial.
Oh, the team time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then he got third on
what's this
one
called?
of the Evenepoel days.
Yeah, it's the climb towards the lighthouse.
Yes.
towards what's it called? No.
It's this one was
Cap Formentor. Towards Cap Formentor. It's the first climb. It's the road from Poyensa to Cap Formentor, and it's the first climb. That's where the finish was.
It's kind of a crazy stage. It started on. I didn't realize it started like outside of Palma, and then it snakes all the way over there through the mountains. Interesting. No, that's not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. People lay off young Christian people. He's not. I didn't think it was intentional. Just thought it was bad luck.
For sure not.
And then Alexandre lost to Morgado at the Figaro Champions Classic. Over the weekend. Pretty impressed because Alexandre is not a slow guy, and it was two of them away, and Morgado just said, "I'm going to sprint from the front. I'm going to win this race." So it's pretty impressive to do.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Strong Portuguese rider in Portugal, difficult to beat.
Second year in a row too that he won that. What do we think about Romeo? Is he going to win the overall here? Because I don't think there's a time trial, and there's no summit finishes. There's tomorrow is like a uphill sprint. Stage 4 is uphill sprint, perhaps. And then stage 5, there's a climb. There's 2 climbs. It's like a lap. So it's 2 of the same climb, 3K long at 6% descent into the finish. I don't know if
good win. I mean, he's been in great form already since the start of the season. So he definitely has the condition to win it. And I think Movistar brought a pretty strong team there too. So
it's important for Movistar.
He could win it. Definitely win it.
Yeah. And I hesitate to say they need it, but it's important for them to get a stage racing win. Yeah. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll talk UAE Tour. We'll talk real business about Remco Evenepoel. What's going on there on the other side? Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Caldera Lab. Caldera Lab makes high-performance skincare designed specifically for men's skin. This is important since men's skin is 25% thicker, oilier, and ages differently from women's, which means men need clean formulas engineered specifically for their biology. They have an easy-to-follow 3-step regimen that is powered by clean, clinically tested ingredients and breakthrough patent-pending technology, delivering visible results. I also just love the 3 steps. I'm trying to take better care of myself. Getting close to 40, got to start going to the dentist more often, going to the doctor, and getting a skincare routine at home so I don't look like a catcher's mitt by the time I'm 40. My first step, the clean slate, the cleanser, cleans dirt, oil, sweat, and buildup away. Won't dry my skin out and leaves my face feeling fresh, clean, and ready for the day. The second step is the serum, the great, their hero product. It uses advanced renewal technology, clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, firm skin, and improve elasticity. And step 3, the hydro layer, the moisturizer. It's lightweight, non-greasy, locks in moisture all day, and gives a healthier, more energized look. So a small habit with big results. Go to calderalab.com/themove and use code THEMOVE for 20% off your first order. That's calderalab.com/themove and use code THEMOVE for 20% off your first order. Okay, Johan, so UAE Tour, I guess technically the big race, the World Tour race happening this week. It is a big race, and it has been predictive of success later in the year. I would say Algarve is maybe the better race, but we are 4 stages through this thing. Just to back people up, stage 1, Isaac Del Toro wins the uphill sprint. Jonathan Milan crashed for the K to go, so wasn't involved. If you remember last year, Tadej Pogačar tried to break away here and win this uphill sprint. It did not work. Isaac Del Toro he was sprinting. I timed it for 35 seconds and beat Cespol. I mean, it was a hard stage because Antonio Tiberi was third, which tells us maybe he's in very good shape.
Yeah, but the sprinters were dead. I mean, and the sprinters were all dying.
I think even if
Milan wouldn't have crashed Spencer, he wouldn't have won this stage. The way this sprint developed, I don't think Milan would have won it.
There was a point where Modern Adventure was on the front, and they're like, I don't know if we should be the ones to be pegging this back. So that shows you there wasn't a lot of organization, but I thought that was one of the most impressive efforts I've seen in a while. Like that, he was out of the saddle. He was out of the saddle, had to sit back down, got back out of the saddle. I mean, I would imagine his watts for that 35 seconds were through the roof. And that is so hard to stay away from.
My son knew how it was. It was hard, but not that impressive. I mean, I think it was 1,100 and something watts
for 35 seconds.
29 seconds, yeah.
We got to remember he's like 64 kilos.
Yeah,
so he's like 10 kilos lighter than a Mads Pedersen or something like that.
Listen, the way he went, it was like, okay, he was sitting there. He said, okay, everybody's dying. I'm going. And he was gone.
I love it. 1,100 watts for 30 seconds. Like
the guy,
not that bad.
The guy, he's a winner. He knows how to win races. This guy, he has this killer instinct,
Yep. Well, the timing was perfect too. He saw it.
Yeah.
Saw the chance and went.
Yeah. No, that was an impressive start. And then the day after, we have Remco, of course, winning the time trial, 56 point something
an hour. I think it was like 56.1, basically. I think the fastest time trial of his career, I heard.
Yeah. I mean, we all expected him to win, of course. But and then so we had Josh Starling.
Only 5 seconds back, so really good result for him.
Yeah. And Del Toro loses 40-something seconds. I mean, I don't think that result was actually a real reflection of the difference, because for some reason, I don't know why this is in the Tour of UAE, everybody can choose their time of start except the leader. So when Del Toro was off, there was more wind. There was definitely more wind, more headwind, because, I mean, he lost 30-something seconds in the first part, half, and then only 10 seconds on the way back. So there was more headwind. But anyway, 42 seconds, you would think, okay, it's going to be hard. He had 10 seconds of bonification, so brought it back to 32. But you would think that Remco, the form he has shown already this year in Mallorca and in Valencia, that he would have been up there for the win. Maybe not winning the stage, but at least for the win in yesterday's stage. But man, that climb was something else. That's a new climb. The last 6.7 kilometers were double digits. I think 12% average. I mean, Evenepoel just didn't have it. We could clearly see he looked okay, and then he blew up and lost 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it might have been over 2 minutes. And we should say in the time trial, I mean, Evenepoel's not a power rider. Like he doesn't put out massive watts because he's not that heavy and he's really aero. He looked incredibly aero, and he was holding almost close to 500 watts for the whole time trial, which is a lot for anybody, a lot for Remco Evenepoel. So he's in shape. Stage 3 rolls around, and unlike previous meltdowns on climbs, it was different for Evenepoel because he was responding to these initial moves. Felix Gall went, Antonio Tiberi went, looked fantastic, by the way, wins the stage. And Evenepoel was with him. And then it's just the light switch turned out, and he's grabbing his leg, he's cramping, which, he could be cramping, but it's unclear to me why that's happening. The climb was brutal. The stats on it's 13K long, 8% average, but the first half of it's not nearly 8%. And the last half is about 12%. So very steep. And then to add weirdness to it, Del Toro, I don't know if you saw this, he was at the back at the beginning of the climb, and he looked like he was really struggling. I was thinking, wow, this guy, I gotta trash my piece that I'm about to publish. This guy's, he's out the back. He's dropped, like Evenepoel's up there with the leaders. He's nowhere near it. And then he starts, Magnus Backstedt noted on the commentary, he said, well, he is passing people, which is weird for a rider that's dropped. And he just kind of slowly was chugging the pedals over, was in a really low gear. And then before you know it, Evenepoel's off the back. Del Toro's at the front mowing down Tiberi. Like the gap was going from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. And then by the end, 15 seconds. Leonard Van Aert felt third at 29 seconds. Yeah. And then Evenepoel was 2 minutes back, 2:04 back. Yeah. So he's out of the GC.
You know what, Spencer? I've seen this before from Del Toro. He's done that before, starting his own pace. And in his interview after the stage, he actually said, this is the first time I'm really in a position, before the start of the race, that I didn't, that I'm the leader of the team, and the team expected a lot, so I didn't really know how to race this. But he definitely paced himself perfectly. I mean, I saw a stat somewhere in the last 9 minutes, which is the last 2.7 kilometers. He did 470 watts average.
Yeah, and that's real. It's an RCS race, so they publish their real watts. So that's not an estimation.
And so that's 7.4 watts per kilo. So he knew what he was doing. It was not like he was getting dropped and then kind of all of a sudden started to feel better and could, limit the losses. He knew what he was doing. The moment he went to the front, you could see he took his glasses off and, focus. And he was on a mission.
He was flying in the last. Yeah. I mean, to put out, that's impressive too. If you did a 10-minute effort at 470 watts, 7.4 watts per kilo, that's very good. But you got to remember that's at the end of like a 30-minute climb. So you're already fatigued when that clock is starting. Super impressive effort. And too, just the fact that he was standing, like, oh man, Tibury's up there. I just got to stand and grind back. And he almost caught him. I would say, though, I think the revelation of this race for me is Antonio Tiburi. This guy looks like he's going to win the overall. He looks incredible.
I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over yet, Spencer. Is it 22 seconds now?
21 seconds. It's definitely not over. Yeah.
In theory, the Toros could still win, but it's going to be very difficult because Tiberi has been in great shape already. He was fourth in Valencia. He's a class rider, looking back to this guy, in 2019, this rider was world champion time trial juniors, and then went to the pros. Funny enough, such a good rider who has been top 5 already in Grand Tours, which I think he was top 5 in the Giro at one point, and maybe last year.
It was the year that Pogacar won, I believe.
Fifth,
at the Giro.
This is only his 3rd win as a pro.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Actually, funny story is the guy's actually most famous for killing a cat.
Not great to be known for that.
No, but he's on fire, man. He's strong, and the way his form is right now, it's not going to be easy to get him out of that leader's jersey.
Yeah, we should clarify too. The cat killing. If you don't know, he apparently had an air rifle, like a pellet gun, and shot the cat. I have not seen any statements on it. I don't know if he meant to do it. I will say something. Sometimes
it was in San Marino. So in San Marino, which is like a little country within Italy, right? Where I think actually Del Toro, him and Del Toro and who else? There's another rider. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they all live, like they room together.
They live in the same building, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think he was shooting at stuff and he killed a cat. And it was the cat of one of the prime minister.
The guy who runs the country.
San Marino. And then, he got fired over that, man. And Trek fired him over that. He went to Bahrain and, I think the firing was a bit over the top, I think.
Maybe you just go to like a sensitivity. You suspend him for a few months. He goes to a sensitivity training. That's probably what I would have done because they get rid of him and think they bring in Ayuso for big money, huge fee, millions of euros to basically replace.
It's not the same team anymore since, Now the team is owned by Little different, but they definitely lost a really, really good rider there who's coming to, I think he's still, was he 24, 25?
24 years old.
Wow, still young.
Yeah, looks like he's taken a big step up. And the reason I mention this race at all is because you think, oh, this race doesn't matter. It's like an early season Middle East race, right? That's how our minds think of a lot of these races. It's not really true anymore because there's been 7 editions of this race. And five of those 7 winners went on to podium at the Tour de France later that year. So this race, actually, if you win it, it actually is quite predictive of how you're going to do later in the year. And then when we roll around to the Tour de France and we're talking about, we're going to say, oh, Pogacar is going to win. Jonas is going to get second. Who's going to get third? I would remember this name. I think this is someone that could podium at the Tour.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid rider. Very, very, big endurance. I like him.
Yeah, it was super impressive. So the big question, I think Isaac Del Toro, we were impressed by that. I want to see how he does. There's one more climb. We don't have Jebel Jais this year. I know they had some problems there with flooding. We have Jebel Hafit.
Yeah. Jebel Hafit now, yeah.
On stage 6, a little bit more mild, like 10K long, 11K long, really, at 7%. So a more mild climb. That's where the race will be decided. Del Toro could win. Tiberi could win. Both would be worthy winners. Who will not win is Remco Evenepoel, who came into this race as the heavy favorite. Looked fantastic in the time trial. So we know the form is there, and then just caves on the climb. The reason I bring this up is because this is the 4th stage race in a row where this has happened. Because the 4th World Tour stage race. You go back to Romandy 2025, wins the time trial, dropped on the summit finish, doesn't win the overall. Dauphiné roasts the time trial. Remember that? Everyone was saying Pogacar is washed up. He's done. Remco's here. Oh, 2 days later, he's dropped on the summit finish. Doesn't even finish on the podium of that race. Tour de France 2025 wins the first week time trial and then dropped on Oudacam, passed in the time trial, leaves the race. This is now the 4th straight World Tour stage race where he's won the time trial, dropped on a climb. It has to be mental, Johan, right? Because we physically know he's in good shape from these time trials. And then you said in our pre-show, the last World Tour stage race he won was UAE Tour 2023. So it's been a while, and it shows regression. Like he can't win the UAE Tour.
There's definitely something there. I mean, I you know what? I don't know what it is. And like before I start to go into, what I think, let's not forget, and this is not the case this season, but let's not forget that Remco Evenepoel has had a trajectory with many ups and downs, and a lot of them are due to injuries and crashes. He had big crashes already. You say Romandy, he won the time trial and then blew up, but he was, it was his first stage race back after his.
Yeah. We wouldn't really think much of it at the time because it's like, well, he's coming back
after his accident with the post car. But there is definitely something. I don't know what it is, I cannot find a reason, Spencer, because he looked in great shape in Valencia. He rode Tiberi off his wheel on Cumbre del Sol.
The same
on
guy.
A very steep climb, shorter. So I'm tempted to think that he is explosive. He has big power, but what I see is when it's steep and long, he has problems. And I said it before in another podcast, right? We think about Remco, about Tour de France, and he himself obviously sees him as a contender. And I think, it's right to have that kind of ambition. After all, he was already on the podium of the Tour behind Tadej and Jonas. He already won the Vuelta. But I come back to what I said earlier on, if you look at these 7 big 1-week stage races, he hasn't won a single one of them. And he hasn't won that many GCs in stage races, or at least not World Tour stage races. He's been second in Paris-Nice. He's been second in Tour of Catalonia. So, it's hard to say he can't do it. He definitely has the potential to do it. But for some reason, he hasn't done it yet. And with his palmarès, with his potential, with his power, and now obviously also with his experience after all those years, he should have had some of those wins in the bag already, and he hasn't. So I have no explanation why it is. Maybe he doesn't have it either. But it's obvious that he's stronger in one-day performances and some exploits like on a particular day than in a general classification over 1 week or over 3 weeks. It sounds silly that I say that because, he's won the Vuelta and he was third in the Tour. So he's done it already. It's just that I can't find that consistency in that level. And I'm a bit puzzled up I mean, I can't find the reason why. Because 10 days ago he rode those guys off his wheel in Valencia.
The same guys, yeah. That's what's baffling. And they look like they didn't belong in the same race as him. We saw it though at the Bronze Appeal and Amstel Gold, where he looks like a motorbike out there, and then he does it. And the thing that would concern me is he's going backwards. So these are his World Tour stage race results from 2020 to 2023. First, Tour Poland. Fourth, Basque Country. First, Vuelta España. First, UAE Tour. Second, Catalonia. So this third at Tour de Suisse. These are his World Tour stage race results post 2023. Second, Paris-Nice 2024. That's pretty good. Third, Tour de France 2024. That's good. Fifth, Romandy. Fourth, Dauphiné. And then he's going to be out of the GC here. So he's moving backwards in these stage races, which I don't understand. I mean, maybe it is something to do with the postal van crash, and he's never quite recovered from that.
And the crash in the Basque Country. Let's not forget, he was very affected there too.
And so that was, just so I get this straight in my head, that was 2024 Basque Country crash.
Yeah.
He comes back, finishes third at the Tour.
Yeah, that
offseason hits a postal van before the 2025 season. Yeah. It could be something to do with that.
It's looking for some explanations, but and anyway, maybe it was just a bad day yesterday. He said he had cramps, that he felt dehydrated. It is obviously the first time he's in the heat this season, but it's the same for the others, right? Except for Del Toro, who has been training in Mexico.
Funny thing about the cramps is, like, where's the pickle juice? Because Pogacar gets cramps too. He just carries the pickle juice, drinks the pickle juice, seems to be fine. Like, I would maybe just copy what he does. There was a pro talking about he's doing some new training. There's an off the record conversation, like some new training this year. And I'm thinking, like, man, I would just do what UAE's doing. Like, go listen to what they do and do that, because that seems to be working pretty good.
It's not mathematical, Spencer. I mean, I can let me tell you, whatever Pogacar does training wise, almost nobody can do that.
That's a good point.
Nobody can train so hard and then have a strong enough body to recover from that, assimilate that training, and get better from that training. Most people would just destroy themselves.
Very good point. Like, even right now, if all three of us went to a training camp, me, you, Lance Armstrong, I would just get worse, because the training.
I could tell you one guy who would get better. Lance.
He would get better with the training.
Always gets better. I mean, it's typical for a champion with a big engine. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, Lance is now in his 50s. And I've seen him show up at events, and not in great shape at the beginning. After 3 days, the guy's already on a different level. It's crazy how fast these guys improve with a little bit of training, and where others, just ride themselves deeper and deeper into a hole.
Yes. Yeah, it is actually really shocking to see. And Lance is like the ultimate example of that. He had some good results because of that. But like, even Seamus McGrath, who is like a mountain bike world champion, I did a week-long training camp with him when I was like really seriously training. And I was just worse every day. And then Seamus could barely ride a bike the first day. And then by the end, he's dropping everybody. Like, it's really shocking when you see it up close, and you understand why the same guys tend to win all these races, because they're just better. You say bigger engine. I mean, it's that simple. I don't quite know the physiology behind it, but that's what's happening. But in terms of Red Bull, where does this leave them? So Remco Evenepoel was the big GC acquisition in the offseason to an already pretty good GC team. What do they do here? Do they just kind of keep going forward, and maybe they bring two GC guys to these races? So if Remco has a problem, they have someone else's backup. Is that what the plan's going to be?
I mean, I don't. At this moment, I don't think with Remco there should be another GC rider, because Remco is a natural leader. He wants to be the leader. I'm not sure that at this moment that would work. I think that's for later on for the Tour. Listen, let's not draw conclusions too quickly. It's an off day. We'll see how he is on Jebel Hafid. I expect him to be better. I expect him to stay with those guys.
I wouldn't be shocked if he wins Jebel Hafid.
I don't know if he can drop them, but if he attacks, he's not going to be as supervised as Del Toro and Tiberi. Tiberi and Del Toro won't let each other go.
Yeah.
Remco could potentially profit from that, but no, I think Red Bull for the moment they just need to keep focusing and on Roglic hasn't started racing yet. Lipwitz started today, not great, I think. In Algarve, he was not in the front. I think he's somewhere around 15th, 20th place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we'd have to go back. I know there was my friend Keegan Swerble crashed. I don't know if he was caught behind that. Yeah, McNulty crashed. Yeah. But it's actually not. We're at a point in cycling where you see that. It's kind of ridiculous. It's the first race of the season, and he's off the pace. It's like, poof, I don't know if he can recover. He might be done.
Yeah,
stick a fork in him.
He can recover for sure.
Yeah, it's also not really a Lipowitz. It's not really his specialty, that type of finish.
No,
he's only 29 seconds back. It's not like he's in the spirit world. But for the Tour, they'll certainly bring 2 leaders, correct? Lipowitz and Evenepoel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then the Vuelta will be Roglic.
Yeah.
The Giro's Pellizzari and
Hendley.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and the thing about Remco is, he's going to be good, and he's doing Liège. He's doing Flesh, Amstel Gold, Flesh, Liège. Like, he's going to be good in those one-day races. Like, what's weird is as he's getting worse at stage races, he's getting better at one-day races, which I don't fully understand.
Yeah, and hang on a second. Okay. I have a guy here who's I think he's wanting attention. Here, our star, Bobby. Bobby's back.
Bobby.
He wants to be on camera.
This is going to help the views. This should be the thumbnail on YouTube.
Our audience loves Bobby.
Yeah, they do. We get in trouble if we don't show him.
They asked me for him to come on the show, so here he is. He's back.
Well, Johan, before we go, quick question for you about Visma Lease a Bike. Quiet start to the season. They win Stage 1 Ruta del Sol. Good win. Second win of the year. The only problem is UAE, their rival team, has 11 wins so far this year. So they have 18% of the wins as their main rival. Probably not panic time yet. The thing that concerns me is Visma, their sponsor, their title sponsor, who they worked hard to get. Remember, they used to have, it was Lotto, then it was
Lotto
Jumbo, and then Jumbo stepped back.
Visma
comes in and kind of saves the day. This was like 3 years ago at this point. Visma's going public. It's a Norwegian software company. Software's not been doing great with AI. Like, there's been a global cooling of software stocks. So now they're delaying the IPO, which is something you don't really want to see. And they're reevaluating their marketing spend. They're probably trying to cut expenses prior to the IPO. So it looks better. So the financials look better. The quote on this is from a Cycling Weekly piece. The quote from Richard Pluga is, "We're in a downward spiral as cycling. We like it or not. I think that's why for everyone, the urgency becomes bigger and bigger every day." That's not great to hear. And then we also hear that Visma is reevaluating their commitment to the team and wanting to step back from the title sponsorship spot. So they probably won't leave them hanging. They're not just going to step away entirely. They want someone to come in and take over that title sponsorship slot. We went through their financials, the team's financials this was like at the end of last year, at the end of 2025. They have a big budget, like 50 million euros or more. Can they find someone to come in and fill this? Like, what are the chances of that?
This is not going to be easy. But listen, I mean, if a team like Visma can't find a sponsor, they'll find a sponsor, Spencer. Maybe they'll have to scale back. Already, and I think, okay, now we've heard of it. We've heard about it now, but this is obviously not news that comes from one day to the other. Richard Plugge has known this for a while already, I think, and it's not a coincidence that expensive riders have left the team. If you look, Van Baarle left, Yves Benoot left, Olaf Kooi left, and and I'm for sure for somebody else, I don't know who, another big rider, and they haven't replaced them with equal paid riders. So it could be, of course, I think they have to kind of fill up that hole, although that we spoke about a few months ago. But I do think that they have this wealthy Dutch entrepreneur as a backer, who can then write a check, I think. But maybe they will have to operate on a smaller scale. I don't know. It's clear that how fast things can change, right? We're talking about Visma now, and in the pre-show we talked about if they haven't won or they have to be concerned. Let's not forget, this is a team that 2 years ago they won the 3 Grand Tours. 3 years ago they won the 3 Grand Tours, and last year they won 2 Grand Tours and second in the Tour.
Yeah,
they're still one of the top teams. So I wouldn't. What I think is they have companies around them, in my opinion, who have the potential to either through their business relationships or through their own financial possibilities to step up and keep funding the team. If you look at Lisa Bike is just a name, a product of this big Pon company. Pon could sponsor this on their own if they want.
And Pon owns Cervelo, so it's the tie-in.
They
with
own
the bike sponsor
and a lot of other brands.
Yeah, like a lot. It's a huge Dutch conglomerate.
Yeah,
big company. But you would say their vulnerability, though, is okay. So they get 3 podiums at Grand Tours last year, 2 wins, but 2 of those podiums were one guy, Jonas Vingegaard. The third podium, one of the wins was Simon Yates, who's no longer with the team. That's another rider who's out the door. Uderbrook's out the door. They've not been active. Think of these big bidding wars: Derek G, Oscar Onley, Juan Ayuso, Remco Evenepoel. They're nowhere in these deals.
Yeah.
And on one level, I don't hate it. It's like, well, that feels like an overheated market to me. Maybe that's fine to sit it out. But a lot of their strategy looks like right now, it's like, hey, Matthew Brennan, you want to go win some races? It's just like, what? The depth here looks a little thin. They do have Matteo Jorgensen. Jonas Vingegaard will presumably be racing at some point. Wout van Aert. These are good riders, and they have brought in, like they've made good targeted signings. It's just not big money, probably because they know that they have to trim costs at some point.
Yeah. For sure. They've been looking, they've not gone crazy. They've been calculating, and they've done their homework properly to not overspend. I personally think that some of these, namely to name 2, I think Ineos and 3 actually, Ineos, Red Bull, and Little Trek. They spent some crazy money, which is actually not.
Yeah,
I think it was more emotional spending than something else, because those amounts don't really make sense in cycling. It's also because obviously they have backers behind who don't really care if it's 2 million more or 5 million more or 7 million more.
Well, yeah, and if you and I are in a room with Red Bull executives and they say, "Hey, we're Red Bull. We want to be the best team. Who's the best riders? Who should we sign?" It's like Pogacar, he's not available. Vingegaard, he's not available. It's like no one's available except a few of them. So if you need to make a really big name signing, you don't have a lot of options. Like Evenepoel was
okay, Spencer. But it's true. You look, okay, who's available, but then the money needs to be accordingly. Personally, I think 10 million for Juan Ayuso is crazy.
I do not understand that.
Whatever it is, 7 million euros for Remco is crazy, I think. 6 million for Oscar Only is crazy. But these are the buyouts, right?
That's not even the salaries.
That's not including the salaries.
Yeah. especially when you look at Tiberi. That guy was free.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, you compare this to football, for example, soccer here in Spain, for example, or in Europe. I mean, it's peanuts,
Well, those teams make a lot of money. that would be they drive revenue from those signings.
Yeah, exactly.
But Visma's got Louis Barré, so they got nothing to worry about. The signing of the season right there. This guy, he was fifth at Amstel Gold. I actually do love Louis Barré. But they make good signings. I do think some of those were a little kooky. I think of Matthew Riccatello. He was in that front group today. Was he the only one not signed for a multi-million-dollar transfer fee? He was a free transfer from his contract ran out at Israel. Yeah. So I do think Visma could be using a little bit more targeting shopping technique than perhaps I still don't understand the Lidl Trek Juanusa signing. That mystifies me.
He's a good rider, but it's I don't know. The 10 million, that's just crazy.
You have to win the tour or else everything is a disappointment, basically, at that amount of money.
Yeah.
Well, Johan, do you have anything else? We'll be back on Monday to talk about how these races wrap up. Maybe Remco Evenepoel comes back and wins the UAE Tour. We have to take everything back on Monday. But anything else before we take off?
Not going to happen, Spencer. I don't think
so.
Yeah. No, that's it for me.
All right.
Bobby, do you have something else to say? Are you going to be back on Monday? On Monday, we're going to be reporting from the Costa Blanca, and Bobby's going to be there too. So,
nice.
Maybe he's coming on the show again.
Bobby, he's gonna love Benidorm. Oh no, that's not where my favorite town, Benidorm. Bobby's gonna love it. A lot of old people to pet him.
No, I'm not going to stay. My son is going to stay in Benidorm with his team, but I'm not staying in Benidorm.
That's probably a good
staying
choice.
In beautiful Benissa.
Well, thank you, Johan, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.